I think the discovery phase that we undertook with CDPS in relation to exploring opportunities for information sharing systems on a digital basis were extremely beneficial to the Neurodivergence Improvement Programme. When we began the programme, there was already a lot of interest in discovering what more can be done digitally, what more can be done around creating a central repository for information and resources, and for enabling and creating digitalised pathways. And we were able to explore all of that through the original discovery phase with the Centre for Digital Public Services. I think one of the huge benefits was the range of stakeholders that CDPS were able to engage with. So the feedback and evidence that we had was really independent of ourselves and was from people who have used the system and been part of the system from a lived experience and professional perspective. And we've really been able to use the evidence to underpin next steps for the Neurodivergence Improvement Programme and be really clear that there is value in pursuing an information sharing repository, in pursuing digitalised pathways and digitalised methods of undertaking this work. So it's been extremely helpful and valuable to be confident that that's the right way forward. It was really good to be able to go back to the Centre for Digital Public Services and undertake the alpha phase, the next steps coming out of the discovery phase around were there any particular projects on the market that could do the job that we wanted to in creating digitalised pathways to make the assessment and diagnostic pathway much more efficient for both professionals and users accessing the system. It was great to be able to pick up the relationships that we'd previously established with the Centre for Digital Public Services, because it just meant that we were able to get the project off the ground really quickly, because we all knew what our common aims and outcomes were in working together. We'd already begun to scope some of this within the Neurodivergence Improvement Programme, but it's a complex and vast landscape, and so it was great to have the capacity and knowledge brought to us by CDPS in order to take this work forward. It just made things much more doable. We moved at a much quicker pace, and we gathered much more intelligence and knowledge than we would have been able to working by ourselves. The evidence that CDPS gathered for us is invaluable. It's really helped with our decision making about how we take forward quite a complex area, and perhaps breaking it down into more chunks, more pieces of work. We were able to get a detailed analysis of what's currently on the market and whether or not any of those are fit for the purpose that we need for taking our work forward through the Neurodivergence Improvement Programme. We were able to come to some conclusions around that there isn't anything currently on the market, but actually there were clear steps that we could take next about designing our own version of what we think will work for us in neurodivergence improvement programs and digitalised standardised pathways, and going back and reflecting with what's currently on the market and whether or not that can be developed to be fit for the purposes that we need it to. The evidence that we've got in the background from CDPS, that the matrix of requirements that was developed, is great evidence for us to be able to reflect on when we're in conversations with other stakeholders about the outputs of the projects. So it's really been a good solid piece of work. One of the key benefits of working with Centre for Digital Public Services is their user-centred focus. This is really important to us in the Neurodivergence Improvement Programme. We've made a pledge to co-produce all of the work that we undertake to ensure that it really does make a difference to the lives of neurodivergent individuals. So having the user-centred approach from CDPS, gathering that evidence, engaging with those stakeholders has been really key to ensure that the products that we will look to commission and deliver in the future are really fit for purpose for those who need to use it most. And that's the users accessing our services.